Hello Flosstube, welcome to my channel Rosewood Crafts. I'm Angelica. Today is Saturday, November 22nd, and it's time for a stitching update. It's been 1 month since I posted my last video, and I have a lot of progress that I want to share with you. So some stitching, some organization stuff. I'm going to talk about Halloween stitching. I'm going to talk about baking stitching, like bake-off stitching. Then I'm going to touch on some plans and share with you what else I've been up to since my last video. So the first thing I did after I posted my last video is I did a little bit of reorganizing my bedroom. And I removed a piece of furniture that was along this wall and was able to shift everything else over a little bit so that this image right here, this diamond painting I have hanging up, is more exposed. Before it was, this shelf was actually back a little bit, so I've gained a little bit more space in this area. I also found the remote to my lights that I had hanging up last year. I had taken them down because I couldn't find the lights, the remote, so I couldn't turn them on. So I could hang those back up after Thanksgiving. I could put those back up for the holiday. It's also blank right here because I had a diamond painting that I had temporarily put up. I had temporarily, when I put it up there, it was just temporary. So you would have seen it in my last video because I had just finished it, but I've since moved it, and I haven't put anything else back here because I plan on putting the sheet and the lights back up. So that's why this is blank and boring right here. Then at that point, or after doing some reorganizing of my furniture, I spent a few days prepping the fabric for my Halloween stitching. When picking which projects to work on, I only pulled from stash. So I took all the fabric that I had and I measured it out and divvied it up between as many new starts that I could possibly get out of them that were just Halloween projects. Which means moving forward, if I want to do any new starts, I have to purchase more fabric. So it did take a few days, like 3 or 4 days, but I measured, cut, faux serged with the sewing machine, dyed and pressed fabric for 28 new starts. And when all was said and done and I had the fabric ready, it was only 48 hours till Halloween. So I knew that I wasn't going to be able to start those projects until next year for October, which is fine. I was perfectly content with that. At least I got that done so that it would be easy. All I would have to do is pull floss. However, on Halloween, I had some time to start something, and I decided to pull out one of those projects. So I did start something on Halloween. Then a couple days after Halloween into November, I decided that I wanted to see if I could expedite bake-off stitching and see how fast I could do it. Usually I don't watch the Great British Baking Show until November. It does start airing back in, this season started airing in September, I believe, late September. And then the last episode aired on November 10th. So I started before the last episode aired, but I thought by the time I got to the 10th, I would be wrapping up my stitching. I have never done bake-off stitching before, and as I watched the episodes and wrote down all the totals, I realized about halfway in that it was actually halfway into the season that it was not going to be possible to speed run the stitching for this game. I did use the rules that were originally set by Jessie Marie, um, who yeah, I went to her official rules episode, or yeah, video, and wrote down all of what she said. Um, there is one rule that says daily 100. I did just write that down as a straight 700 stitches. So assuming that I was able to pick up or that I caught all of the handshakes in the episodes, um, for the for the full duration of this current season, it accumulated to 20,000 stitches, 20,025 stitches. And I can't do that in a week. So even though I had started off stitching, or I started my stitching with the show, I ended up dropping it and decided instead that I would just pull as many projects and get them started as I could. The ones that I saved for last that I didn't get around to were ones that I wanted to make major color conversions for. And so I just wanted to focus on the ones that were really easy, like a lot of black. There's a lot of black stitching or other colors that I had available and easy to pull from. So I did 18 new starts within a week, in 7 days. So it's not a lot of progress on each one, but the stitches range from 200 stitches at the bare minimum up to over 500 stitches. I don't think anything got like 1,000. I'm not sure what the highest stitch count is that I did, because I wasn't really tracking them. I was just trying to get progress on everything, as many things as possible, which I will show you, obviously. So I have 19 projects to show you. And then real quick before I go ahead and pull those out and show you what I did, after when I lost my steam on these projects, I really wanted to get my floss organized. So earlier this year I showed you that I had bought this box, this file box, and that I had prepped it. You could see through that. These are the folders that come in it. I had cut and folded, and I keep getting confused. Did some holes in them, and then some of them have rings that hang from them. The rings are for excess floss, but if it's just a single strand, then I pulled it through the holes themselves because I didn't have enough rings for everything. So I did spend some time, and it's very packed and over full, and I do need to like straighten it out, because like I'm gonna pull everything out and kind of give it a shake and brush it down to put it all back in there. So it is very cramped in there. But what I did is I took all my project bags, because each project, specifically the full coverage projects, all the floss that I purchased for them were inside the project bag, and some of those only need a few hundred stitches per color, so they don't need to be holding on to a whole skein. They're just taking up space in the project bag. So I went through all of my project bags, and I don't want to say whipped them down, but I fixed all the floss on them. So sorry if that was loud, it was right next to you. So this is what I ended up doing. So every full coverage piece now has a ring with all the floss. It has the tag on it of what the piece is, just in case this gets separated. And I pulled an estimate amount of floss that I was going to need for the whole project. So for example, this one, this 3864, it doesn't require a lot of floss. So the fact that I have this means that it was less than 500 stitches. It needs less than 500 stitches, so I have it like this, and then the rest of the skein got added to the box. So I've spent some time doing that. I also decided that I wanted to start prepping. One of the motivations to that, I wanted to get this all done in time for my WIT parade. I wanted all the bags ready to like pre-prepped before I do my WIT parade, but also I wanted the floss organized so that as I'm prepping for what I want to work on next year, so all my new starts that I intend on starting this next year, I wanted to know what needs to be purchased and what doesn't need to be purchased right now. If it requires a color that I have plenty of floss for, then I don't need to buy that floss right now. I could just buy it as the box gets low, because I'm barely stitching a full page on a full coverage project right now per year. So yeah, I don't need all of that floss right this second. So that's what I'm currently working on, is actually is kitting up everything that I want to start next year, and or making a to-do list of things that I need to organize. There is a chart that I purchased that's on its way here. I don't know if I'm going to start that one next year or not. I just purchased it because it was on sale, like clearanced, and I want to be very particular about what color conversion I do for that one. So that one may not be a 2026 new start, but I do have a handful of charts that I want to start for 2026, and may possibly even start them beforehand so that they at least have a small start going into next year. So that yeah, I may want to get them started actually now, and then so that they have more time to be worked on next year. I should have said this at the beginning, but I forgot. This year has not gone to plan at all. I made a schedule of when I wanted to record these videos. So I wanted to start doing Flosstube updates every 2 weeks. I wanted to do a quarterly check-in for my goals, and I wanted to do Flosstube extras for 24 hours of cross stitch weekends. I don't feel like that's asking for too much, but nothing has gone to plan. Nothing has gone to plan at all this year. So I may have to, I don't know, I kind of feel like that's probably going to be my same schedule goals for next year. Oh, and then also I wanted to have my WIT parade posted before Thanksgiving, between the November 1st and Thanksgiving. I wanted to have my WIT parade done. That obviously hasn't happened yet. I wanted to get, like I said, I wanted to get my project bags situated, but also I haven't mentally had the time to go over it. I've been so busy doing other things. And all of this on top of, I've been playing a game with my husband most nights after he gets home or after dinner, after work. So I haven't had the brain capacity, whatever, to do a WIT parade. So I may do that next week or the week after that, but sometime before winter break, before my little goes on winter break. But yeah, I wanted to have my WIT parade done before Flossmas. Flossmas this year, I'm not going to do daily stitching, or sorry, daily videos. I already knew that going into the year, but Flossmas is the only thing that's left for me this year that that could get messed up schedule wise. So my intention was to do a weekly check-in for Flossmas, but we'll see how that goes. I think doing it weekly just for Flossmas is more obtainable than 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 daily stitching or daily videos. I'm starting to get a little flustered because sorry if I'm talking too fast or it's hard to follow what I'm saying. Um, my husband took my little to the store a little bit ago, and I just have this feeling that they're going to be home soon, and so I kind of feel like I'm trying to rush everything out so that I could get to showing you what I worked on. But I also want to make sure that I say everything that I want to say, because if I don't get this video recorded today, it's not going to get posted before Thanksgiving. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about before, but I don't think so. I think we could just get into the whips. So as I said, it's 19 new starts. The stitches range from 200 to over 500 stitches on each. All of the fabric is dyed by me. I dyed everything. Most of them are on 18 count. Only one, I think there's two in there that are on 32 count Lugana, and then I have one that's a 25 count. Yeah, one's a 25 count, and then what else? I broke them up into 3 categories. One is, the first category is purchased whips. These are whips that these are patterns that I purchased from an official website. The second category is patterns from the Witchy Stitcher book that came out this summer. And the third category is Patreon and other freebies. So the Witchy Stitcher is going to be my prime. That, like, half of these are going to be Witchy Stitcher. Just a heads up, so you're aware. But with Patreon, you could you could pay for a lot of Patreons, but there's also some Patreons that you could join for free, and I do have some free patterns through Patreon. But I'll just start pulling them out. And then because there's not a lot of progress on them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show it on whichever side. I don't know which side is going to be easier. I'm going to show the image, what I worked on, and then I will insert the picture of what it's supposed to look like when it's done side by side. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to show you is the chart the pattern that I actually started on Halloween. This is called Spirits of the Dead. I don't have a workspace that I didn't think this out very well. This is Spirits of the Dead by Modern Folk Embroidery. This is one of the charts that I had been planning on starting this year. And then so I'm going to pull it back so it may be easier to show side by side. So yeah, I had been expecting to start this all year. I think I might have wanted to start it last year, or maybe I decided last year that I wanted to work on this. So this was one that I had hoped to put on 32 count, but I just didn't have enough 32 count, and I wasn't buying fabric, or I'm not buying fabric right now, so this is on an 18 count, but I think it'll look fine. So next up is another Modern Folk Embroidery. This is called Got the Morbs. this is a green and the floss is purple. I don't know if you, I'm not going to press any of these. So a lot of them are going to have like a very prominent line crease through it. So I'll try my best to show it without. So this is 550. The floss is 550, and the fabric is it's actually 2 different shades of green. So it's a dark green and a Kelly green. So next is Blackened Sky from Primitive Needle. This one has the most progress compared to everything else. But that was because it was one of the first ones that I started, and before I realized that I needed to speed it up if I wanted to touch on everything. But I also wanted to make sure that the blocks were spaced correctly. So I'm going to pull it back. So this one's not a green on green. This is what did I put? I didn't write down what color I did this on. It is a green. It is the dark green. I don't know if I did 2 colors or not. But yeah, I wanted to focus on getting the proper spacing for all the blocks. Most of these blocks are not filled in. If you look right here, you can see it's a lot. They're half stitches. These are half stitches followed by a full cross for every 10. That was my way of counting to make sure all the boxes are correct. And I only counted the full crosses as I was doing this. Like I said, I was taking my time when I first started doing the bake-off stitching, and then I realized that I wasn't going to be able to finish it. So I hurried up, and when it hit the when I finished forming the boxes, I quickly just filled in some of the lines to equal enough stitches to get to pull out the next project. Next up is going to be Body Manor, which is from Forbidden Fiber Co. The sun is kind of bright. This is it's a gray. It's just a gray fabric, and the house is actually a shade of gray too. It's like a gray brown. I'm not sure how to. Okay, maybe that looks all right. This is a pattern that I discovered I seen it on their website either last fall or early this year. I can't remember exactly when I seen it. But I knew that I was going to want to stitch this, and that I wanted to at least get the story time chart done so that I could, like, I was trying to save money and time, so I was going to make sure that story time was finished before I purchased this. Now, I did purchase the pattern before finishing story time, but it was around the same time that I actually like hurried up and finished it. Next up is going to be Red Riding Hood, which is from the Witchy Stitcher. And this is what I've gotten done. those were all my purchase charts. Now we're going to go into the Witchy Stitcher book, which I also purchased the book, and it's probably half. I don't remember exactly. I didn't count how many I have from the book or started from the book. So first up we got Memento Mori. Next is Happy Halloween. Okay, so my little and my husband are back from the store, so I had to go get my little situated, and hopefully I could get this finished before he makes too much noise. So next up is going to be Vintage Halloween Dolls. Again, not a lot of progress. Probably 200 stitches. Next I have Haunting Hour. Not a lot to say about these ones. I just was getting them, I just wanted to get everything started so that I could put more time into them next year. Next up is Superstitious Stitches. And the last one I have from that book is Nevermore, which I am attempting to do with a gray floss. I thought it would be something different for me because I'm just trying to be a little bit more not creative, but a variety of different colors and stuff. So for the and I could always do this in a different colorway later on because it's not huge. All right. So like I said, my third category, these are all free patterns that I got from either a blog or Patreon. So first up is Ghoulish Gourd from the Stitch Crypt. So at this time I have all of these projects in one project bag, and to make things simple and not complicated, I wanted to make sure that whatever I did wasn't going to require me to hold on to any floss. So if okay, for example, this one, I wrote down that I did not write down, but I know what it is. Oh yeah, I did, sorry, wrong one. I wrote down that it's DMC 413. So that, and I have a cone of that, so I didn't have to hold on to any floss. This one is not a DMC. This is one from my old set of floss that is just unlabeled colors. So so since I don't know what color like this is, I made sure that I did all of that one color so that I didn't have to hold on to it. Next up is Majestic Owl. And I think you'll see when I put it side by side if I'm correct or not, but I think it's going to go this way. This is a piece of fabric that I had dyed for another project a few years ago. It was my first piece that I had dyed with this shade of blue, and it came out so dark and vibrant that it didn't look right for that piece. And so when I acquired this chart, it fit this piece of fabric, but it was still too dark and vibrant. So I thought it would be a smart idea to re-dye this in a gray. And when I went to go dye it with all of these pieces, it started to bleed. Just for dipping it in the water. The blue started to bleed, so I realized it didn't get a proper rinsing. So I rinsed the heck out of it, and then I put a little bit of Dawn soap and washed it the best I could until the blue stopped bleeding. Then after that, I dyed it with a light pearl gray. So where it's the lightest right here, these light parts, they're gray now, and before they were still white. They were still white, and this blue was really dark, so it didn't look nice before. Now it's a lot better. Next up is another image or chart from Raven Coven. It's called I Count for Cross Stitch. And again, I don't know which direction this goes in, but I think it goes this way. So again, not a lot of progress. But because it's another Sesame Street character, I could add to my other Sesame Street character charts that I have finished. I have a Seductive Kermit from the Witchy Stitcher that is completed, and I have a Grover's Monster at the End of the Book that I have finished. So now I have another Sesame Street character to add. Next up is Creepy, and my last chart from Raven Coven, and it's the one that I'm attempting to do on 25 count. I say attempting because I'm attempting to do 2 over 1 on 25 count, and that is not my preferred stitch count for 25. I like 2 over 1 half stitch, not full cross. This is going to be full cross. This chart is a full coverage piece, but because it's so tiny, I was able to fit it on this tiny scrap of 25 count Primintive project. So I wanted to attempt doing 2 over 1 full cross on 25 to see how I liked it. So far, I hate it, and I am going to attempt to do it again next year in October, but it's likely that I may not even finish this piece because I don't like I don't like stitching 2 over 1 on 25 count. I am going to be changing the colors on this. I think the Creepy is still in a purple similar to this. This is 550. I will be changing the colors on this pattern, but that's far down the line, and that's even if I decide to keep working on it. Next up is Ghost Family Crest. This is a chart that I had attempted to start 2 years ago, but I didn't write down what color I was using. I had so I had this main ghost started on a different fabric, which has since been used for something else. But yeah, I didn't make any notes, and I didn't save the floss, so so I ended up having to restart it, and I think it's going to be fun. I don't, if you could tell, I did a variety of bright colors just to mix things up from my usual style. I like a lot of taupes and grays, and even though I like bright colors, I don't tend to lean towards them, so I wanted to have an assortment of other colors. So this one I'm using B5200, which again is a floss I have on a cone. So next up is Samhain. I don't know how to pronounce that. Garden Witch. I have seen other people do this in different colors. So I wanted to make sure that I do just the black so that if I decide to use a different color for the dress that I can potentially, but for right now it's probably just going to stay the orange. All right, two more, and the next one is Haunted House, which is it's Haunted House. It's a freebie from the Sunflower Diaries. It was posted in 2013. I got the entirety of the girl except for her face. I have the full girl done. However, I realized is one of the reasons why I lost steam on working on all these projects is that I realized that not only did one, but two projects got put on the wrong fabric, which means that, and since I don't have any other fabric to pull from stash, that means either a project is not going to get worked on or I got a frog. So I have, even though I got this girl done, I'm going to have to frog her because she is not on the, I did not put her on the right fabric. I did start getting a little colorblind towards the end. So this fabric is not a light gray. It is more chocolatey, like a dark, like a gray chocolate. Um, or at least that's what I was going for. Um, and she was supposed to be on a gray fabric. And last up is A Graveyard Wander, which was a Patreon chart from the Witchy Stitcher. I'm trying to remember which direction is which. So yeah, this was a Patreon chart from the Witchy Stitcher. It is my favorite Patreon chart that I've acquired so to date, I think. So here is my progress. I started it on this 32 count because my original intention was to work on this piece on a 32 count. But again, I didn't have enough 32 count for everything, so it was actually supposed to be placed on a 18 count. This 32 count was designated for a different project, and it was actually that project was, or this was the last straw. This was it. When I realized that this mess up, that's when I lost steam and I stopped working on Halloween projects. So I am going to frog this because I need this fabric. I need this fabric for a different project. Because it is a big piece of 32 count. So yeah. So the fact that I have to frog that, I lost steam and decided I'm done with the Halloween stitching. I have a good start for next year. And that's when I got motivated to start working on my floss. So I've already touched on a couple of things for plans. I plan on making my whip parade. I plan on doing Flossmas. I plan on getting everything kit up for next year. Any new start for like the next bulk of new starts that I intend on working on, I want to get those all kitted up to the best that I can, or at least get a list of what I need to purchase. Should I need more fabric or other floss. When it comes to what kind of stitching goals. I don't think I'm going to place any numbers to any stitching goals this year. I have a small game, like a very simple game on how I'm going to decide what I'm going to work on and for how long. A really condensed, simple down game on how I want to do that so that it's obtainable to be able to work on all year. I may back up the Bake Off stitching. I have all of the stuff written down, all the numbers and stitch counts and stuff is all written down still, but it's just not something that I'm going to do right now. As far as stitching goes, if I decide today I want to stitch, what I would stitch on or what I would reach for as of right now is I would either pull out my Pokemon Gen 1, which is one of my oldest whips. If not, it technically my oldest whip, it did get, it was restarted after some other whips, but originally, I originally started it. It is my oldest whip. So I may want to work on that. Or I may pull out some of my new starts, the stuff that I wanted to start next year. I have a handful of projects that I could start right now, brand new. I may work on that stuff. There's one project that I really want to start on New Year's Eve, and I don't know if I could. Whenever I plan on doing something on a specific day, something always comes up. So part of me kind of feels like I want to just, if I want to do it, just do it now. And then if I have time, then I could also work on it on New Year's Eve. It doesn't have to have a New Year's Eve birth date. So, so I may do that. Again, I've been playing, I started playing a game with my husband. We usually play Fortnite. That's something that we've been playing for several years now together. So we have stopped playing Fortnite for a while. However, this current season that's going on it's just for the month of November, and it's The Simpsons, and we did technically pay for it, so we do want to get our money's worth and get all of the stuff for it. But I did cancel my crew membership so that I won't be billed for the next season next month, but I will still purchase it if I really like what they're offering. But I don't want to prepay for it. I'd rather just wait. So we do have to find some time to play Fortnite this week because we only have until Thanksgiving to finish this pass. We've been playing GTA Online. He started playing it late most past season. Blah. He just started playing it back in like August. I was trying to say late summer. He started playing it around late August. I didn't pick it up until late September, and that's what we've been playing a lot recently. But I want to be more casual about playing it, and he plays it almost every single night, and sometimes I feel guilty and I will get on and play with him for a few hours. I have still not been watching a whole lot of Flosstube. I do try to check Flosstube at least once a day, but I don't always have time to sit and watch everybody. I've been trying to watch more shows and movies, but what I tend to keep leaning towards what I end up doing is I kind of juggle back and forth between Tony and Ryan or Smosh. And I won't over explain those. Tony and Ryan is a podcast that I discovered earlier this year, and I've been listening to a lot of their. I watched everything that they had on YouTube, and now I'm on Spotify listening to their old broadcasts from the beginning. Smosh is something I never really got into. They're one of the oldest YouTube channels. but I never really got into it in the past. Now I'm kind of watching everything, but I will pick a playlist and kind of binge it. Um, so it seems like I'm watching something different each day. Some of their playlists, like Try Not to Laugh, I don't. I'll watch it for an hour or two and then I'll switch to something else. Like I can't do too much of that in one go. But I haven't been really watching my gaming channels. I used to watch Brand Online and Doro. I haven't really been watching them because I'm not playing Genshin. I haven't been playing Genshin since, when did I play Genshin last? Like July or August, I think was the last time I played. So I haven't been playing that. And a lot of other games have been put on the back burner. I was really excited to pick up the new Assassin's Creed, which is technically not new anymore, but it was new this year. I was looking forward to starting it when my little started kindergarten. However, life got more hectic when he started kindergarten, so I haven't had the time to actually sit down and play it. So I've been really wanting to play a lot, either play new to me games or replay some of my favorite games like Persona or Uncharted. Um, but I've been wanting to play some story-based games that that have a start and end. But a lot of the games that I've been playing for the last year or two are, or three, are games that require maintenance. They have updates and you have to keep playing to earn to for as they you have to keep playing them. There's no end to it. You just keep playing. Um, so I've wanted to take a break from those type of games or make a schedule so that I could still play them and enjoy them, but I don't have to stress about them. I'm making that I'm losing out on content. Anyways, I think that's everything that I've been up to, or everything that's been going on with me for a while, or at least for the last month. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you for watching my video. Hopefully there wasn't too much noise going on in the background, because I know the house has been very noisy the last couple of days. I think because it's that weather where it's not cold enough to be bundled up in blankets, but it's not hot enough to require fans. So it's like I could hear the entire house. Um, I can hear the entire house at all times. So usually I will still put a fan on or turn the TV on for background noise, so it kind of drowns everybody else out. That being said, I don't know what the camera is going to pick up that I didn't catch. So hopefully there wasn't too much, or I could edit out if there is anything specific. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully the next time I post a video will be my whip parade. No promises. But until then, I will happy stitching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.